Welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 49, Trades, and the Minutemen.
Oh, one more.
I am your host, Bill Dean, and I'm here, of course, with my three co-hosts, Little Steve, Schwim, and Shorts Guy. We're brought to you by, courtesy of Sam Wu, Primetime Radio, and you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you would be so kind. Boys, what are we drinking?
Schwim's got a good one over here.
I got a 2012, if you could see me. I got a 2012 Dogfish bottle.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think something funny, you guys. Do you get me this?
I think I got it for you when we were down there.
Pretty okay.
No, not good.
It's not that.
I
mean, it's old as
think
hell.
it's better enjoyed fresh.
It's probably
or fresher.
That's what's sitting in the back of the fridge for 8 years.
Yeah,
it's from 2012.
It's 4.5%, and it shouldn't be 4.5%. Shouldn't be sitting in the fridge for 10 years.
It shouldn't be aged.
Let's get rid of this bad boy tonight.
Good job, Schwim.
I have a Dogfish Head bottle or two in my fridge that the labels have all fallen off, so it's going to be like mystery beer when I finally
This one came off pretty
them.
easily.
Yeah, after some
I
time,
see that.
if they're sitting in the fridge, the glue just.
I
goes
also
away.
have pretzels.
You do.
Nice. Esteban?
Yeah, I'm drinking another beer from Edmund's Oast Brewing Company.
Edmund's Oast, very good.
Yeah, it is very good. This is the Sour Blueberry Mango, American Sour Ale brewed with blueberries and mangoes. Product of Charleston, South Carolina, where Danielle's sister goes to college, who's probably not listening to this, but shout out to Julia Manayan for going to college in Charleston. Good for you.
Does she know how to do the Charleston?
Good for you.
She might. You can ask her.
Does anyone know what the Charleston is?
Do I know what the Charleston is, besides the dance?
Can I make
That's
a
not the
historical
Charleston.
Connection?
That's the Carlton.
Can I make a historical
better.
connection to Charleston and today's date?
Sure.
Yeah.
Today it was on
Your
April
birthday.
12th, 1861. No, April 12th, 1861, that the Confederates fired upon Fort Sumter, which was essentially the first shots of the American Civil War, in Charleston Harbor.
You want to know something historic as well?
There's
April 12th,
your connection.
1994, A.J. Dean was born.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
April 12th. There you go.
Happy B-Day, age.
Happy birthday to
A.J.
AJ.
Dean. Co-host of Football on Time, Football Primetime, Football on Primetime.
Well, it is football on primetime.
Yeah, it's true. Since we're doing this week, why don't we go back, do a little April 7th, 1928. Rangers head coach Lester Patrick, he was 44 at the time, plays goalie when his player goes down. His goalie was Shabbat. It was in the playoffs against Montreal. Montreal would actually not let the Rangers use the in-house backup goalie or their minor league goalie. So Patrick steps in and beats the Habs in overtime. The Canadians lose the series because of that. So here's the question. Who would you want as current coach in the NHL? Who would you want to be the goaltender?
Current coach?
Head coach?
What current head coach would you want to be your goaltender if it
Like
came
an
down
emergency goaltender.
Yeah, emergency backup. See, it would have been
There's
absolutely
no,
hysterical if Boudreaux was still in the league. I would have said Boudreaux.
Just because he's like butterball.
I mean, Rob Brindamore would have to be like the logical choice, right? He's probably the most athletic, still can kind of play.
Yeah.
I have something to say.
Oh, let's go.
I have some. On this date, 18 years ago, Schwim stole a TV.
It was never proven, all right?
Blasphemy.
Only assumed.
I don't know that was
Only
18 years
assumed.
ago.
I think it was more than that. I think it was much more than 18 years ago.
Oh my God.
I think
and
I'd
then
like to see
also-
a hilarious head coach in goal, like somebody that has no place to be
Tortorella
there.
would be
Like,
fun.
You know,
Torts would be
Tortorella, I
funny.
was just going to say, Torts in net, because if it doesn't
He'd have
go his
a-
way, I
yeah.
can see him just
He'd flip out.
losing it.
Oh,
That'd be
man.
entertaining.
Kind of like
if
how
someone
Capitals legend Henrik Lundqvist pushed the
Yeah.
note over.
God damn it. I was going to say, especially if like someone give him a little glove tap or something, he'd lose it on the guy, and it would be absolutely funny to watch. But also this week in NHL history, Montreal and New York Rangers fighting for another Montreal New York Rangers thing. So they're fighting for the final playoff spot in 1970, right? Montreal is a game ahead in the standings. The tiebreaker is goals scored for the season. So the Rangers need 5 goals as well as the win in order to upstart Montreal and make the playoffs. So the Rangers win their game 9-5. They get their 5 goals, and they obviously win the game. Montreal is losing 5-2 in the third. They need to score 4 more goals. So they pull their goalie for the entire third period, let in a NHL record 5 empty net goals, which still stands today, and they lose 10-2 and miss the playoffs. So Montreal again, hysterical.
5 empty net
go big
goals.
or go home, right?
5
5
empty
empty
net
netters.
goals.
That shows home.
Well, boys, so let's get on to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. Trade deadline. It's come and gone. 3 p.m. Eastern was the finale. Few deals happened last week, but today's deadline was, I mean, I think it was actually rather good. I mean, there was more trades
It was more
than I thought
exciting
would
than
happen.
I thought it would. Yeah. I mean, nothing huge, obviously, until really the end, but names went, and some unexpected, some to unexpected places. But yeah, I think it was a little more exciting than I thought that it would be, even though it was still, reasonably quiet, I guess.
Sorry, I forgot. Halocene by Hudson Valley.
There you go.
Nice.
They came in bunches too, and then there was nothing.
Yeah,
and then there was
a
in
whole
bunches,
lot of nothing
and
for
then
a
it was
while.
nothing. Yeah, so it was like
A lot
overnight,
of-
bunches, and then
Yeah,
nothing
a lot
for
of
a while,
movement last
and then
night.
bunches. Yeah.
A lot of movement
Yeah, a
late
lot of
last
stuff
the
night.
happened last night. Yeah.
Yeah, right after the
Mhm.
games were done, it seemed to be like it was like
Here it
I
comes.
don't know why between the 11 between 10:30 and like midnight stuff was rolling in and then quiet till sometime this morning, but I feel like the bigger names were moved last night than today.
Yeah, very true.
That Taylor Hall deal was like early in the morning,
Yeah.
at like 1 a.m. or something like that.
All right, so
Yeah,
let me give you the
I was still awake. It
trades.
was like 12:30 or something like that
Yeah,
last night.
12:30. Yeah. So let me give you the trades, and then we can go through and kind of go over what we thought, winners, losers. I have a couple. So
we all know who the big winner is.
yes, we do. So
we'll
the
get into
Isles made a big splash on last Wednesday, getting Kyle Palmieri, Travis Zajac from the Devils for 2 depth forwards, a first-round
boy.
pick in 2021, and a
Depth forward is
conditional.
generous. My God.
Yeah, 2 depth forwards.
That is-
2021 first, and a conditional 4th in 2022, which could be a 3rd if the Isles make the Cup Finals. On Sunday, they traded also for being the Isles, traded for Braden Coburn from the Senators and dealt a 7th-round pick in return. So obviously, Isles with a big splash, getting a forward to jump in for Anders Lee's spot, as well as a depth center, Travis Zajac, obviously could be that third-line center, third-line winger. Good spot. We'll get into the meet in a little bit, but Devils also traded with the Caps for defenseman Jonas Siegenthaler. Did I do well? Woo!
Yeah,
you
good
said it right.
Siegenthaler.
Wow.
And sent a conditional
My goodness.
3rd-round pick. So what was the conditional 3rd, Shorts?
That may have been the I think it's a conditional 3rd from the Coyotes deal.
Do you know what the conditions are for the 3rd?
No, I don't. I got to look that up. It's
All right, you can look it up over.
These conditional picks sometimes just are confusing as hell.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So on to Schwim. The Bolts make another deadline deal as they acquired defensemen David Savard and Brian Lashoff in a 3-team deal. Columbus gets a 2021 first, a 2022 third, and the Red Wings get a 2021 fourth. The reason why there were 2 teams traded, they first traded Columbus to Detroit to get 50% of salary for Savard off the books, and then they took it and traded it to the Bolts, who also took 50%. So the Bolts only owed 25% of the salary for his contract the rest of the year.
Okay, so
Not bad.
here's that conditional pick. All right, sit back and relax and just listen. The pick Washington received is Arizona's 3rd-round selection that New Jersey conditionally acquired in the Taylor Hall trade in December of 2019. And in the unlikely event that Hall, it says now at Buffalo, but this was written before he went to Boston, returns and resigns with the Coyotes, the Capitals would then receive New Jersey's third-round pick instead.
Okay, so if he goes to,
Wow.
so if he re-signs with Phoenix, they would get your third instead. They'll probably get the Phoenix third.
Yeah, they'll get
That's
that
already
Phoenix
come and
third.
gone, right? Wasn't it re-signing after?
Wasn't it before he signed with Buffalo?
No,
Yeah.
Signed
I
with
guess
right,
according
Arizona?
to this,
Maybe it's up
according
until the
to
pick.
this, yeah, I guess according
Maybe.
to this, these
Well,
conditional picks are
these-
so
Hey, Linus
sometimes
scored. Not
they
signing
get
with
so
Arizona.
convoluted and odd.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a bomb.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so we'll get back. There's Jeff Carter to the Pens for conditional third and fourth round picks. The 3 can become a 2 if the Pens reach a cup final and Carter plays 50%. Panthers also acquired defenseman Brandon Montour and send a third round pick to Buffalo. The Bruins, big deal, gets forwards Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar for Anders Bjork, a 2021 first round pick. They then make a deal
Second-round pick.
with the Sens.
Not
is it
first, second, no?
Oh, I must have wrote that in wrong. Yeah, second. Sorry. They then deal a 2021 third-round pick to the Senators for defenseman Mike Riley. Goalie deals. Flames get backup goalie David Rittich from he goes to the Leafs, and they got a 2022 third-round pick. The Avs acquired Devin Dubnyk from the Sharks for defenseman Greg Pattern and fifth-round pick. The Leafs made a big trade as well, getting forwards Nick Foligno and Stefan Noesen in a 3-team deal. Columbus gets a 2021 first, 2022 fourth. Sharks get a 2021 fourth. The Leafs also made a separate deal with Columbus as they acquire forward Riley Nash for a seventh. Habs got John Merrill. Avs get Patrick Nemeth. Edmonton gets Kulikov. Tampa Bay gets Freddie Clayson, former Ranger.
Woo!
Scott
Former
Lawton
Devil
stays put in.
also.
Yeah, true. Scott Lawton stays put in Philly 5x3. Tanner Pearson stays put in Vancouver 3x3.25. This is interesting. Per Elliot Friedman, the Canucks have set aside $15 million for Hughes and Pedersen's next contracts. So $15 million set aside for those two guys. So pretty interesting how they're going to break that up.
Yeah.
Also being dealt, we had at the very end of the
resigned too.
Yep, I follow as well. At the very end of the day, the trade deadline, forward Anthony Mantha gets sent to the Capitals. The Red Wings get Jakub Vrana, Richard Panik, 2021 first, 2022 second. Some other big names, Jordy Ben. Well, not big names, but Jordy Ben's shipped to the Jets from the Canucks.
Taking a tour around Canada, Jordy Ben.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Raffle becomes a depth forward for the Capitals from the Flyers. Hayden Fleury gets sent to the Ducks. Erica Branson goes to the Predators. Eric Gustafson goes to the Canadiens. And then Sam Bennett gets traded to the Florida Panthers along with a 6th-round pick for a 2nd-round pick and prospect Emil Heineman. There were a couple other deals. Soderberg to the Avalanche was a pretty good one, depth forward. Few other deals, but definitely a very busy trade deadline. So I wanted to get your opinions, some winners, losers. Why don't you guys first, and then I'll fill in.
Where do we start?
Well, actually, here, why don't you guys go by your teams? Go by your teams. Schwim, your Tamper.
Same as last year. They gave up last year. They dealt for some sandpaper and grit players, and they lost. They gave up 1st-round picks for them, but they ended up winning the cup. So I guess it evened out there. Same thing this year. They deal another 1st-round pick, and they're acquiring a depth defenseman, a hard-nosed defenseman, which I guess they could use. I'd rather him, if he's going to be in the 6th slot, I'd rather him be playing than like somebody like Luke Shen or one of their taxi squad people. So I think he's going to make his debut tomorrow. So I think that'll be interesting to see how he pairs up. But they're actually talking that they might pair him with Hedman to start. So can't go wrong there.
Big minutes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Norris, you have Hedman, right? Norris Trophy runner-up.
Yeah.
You have McDonough.
They have so many They're losing somebody good in the.
Steve got it. He didn't get it.
Yeah.
I missed
never
it.
mind.
I
I'm
was
just going to
paying
keep going. Hedman, McDonough, Chernak, Sergachev, Savard. So, I mean, they paid a steep price at 1st and a 3rd. They've now traded 3 firsts in a calendar year. But that decor is nasty.
Crazy.
And you're the best team in the league, and you just added a really good
They're going to lose
defenseman.
somebody to Seattle big time.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to protect all of those people.
No.
So, I don't know.
Schwim and I were talking about this earlier too, about the whole you're overpaying for players probably, right? But
Definitely.
you're winning the cup. So if you gave up a first-round pick for Barclay Goodrow, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous,
That was
and then a
ridiculous.
first-round pick for Blake Coleman, who was having a good year with the Devils last year, but still overpriced.
Yeah. He's
Two
playing the first
first-round
third
picks you
line.
lost there, but you won the
I mean,
cup,
you win-
so
you won a
all is
cup.
forgiven.
Yeah.
3-4 years from now, in retrospect, you're gonna be like, I wish I had those prospects now.
Yep.
But at the time, you won the cup, right? This could be the same. It could be the same situation. If they don't win the cup, maybe it hurts a little bit more. Savard he's a UFA. This is a rental.
Or does he still have term on? I thought he still had a.
I thought he had a
I don't
year.
think he's a UFA. I thought he still at least
One
had
more
a year.
year.
I'm going.
They usually do that. Usually don't go for rentals.
Yeah.
They usually go for somebody who still has at least a year left. That's what they did last year. Goudreau and Coleman are both UFAs this year.
Foligno's a rental. Who else is a
Foligno's
rental, that went? Foligno was a rental, and
we'll talk about your guy in a minute. He still has a year. Foligno Hall was a rental. Although they're talking about
rental, yeah.
Well, technically,
Zajac and
Zajac and
Palmieri
Palmieri are rentals, yeah.
They're rentals as well.
So Savard is a UFA at the end of the season.
He is a UFA. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought he had another
29.
year on. Okay.
No,
That's why I figured there was all
track.
that cap retained. That's why all those teams were involved to retain that.
They're hardly paying anything
that
for him
cap
now.
space,
So.
but you don't. I mean, again, you don't know. I think Savard, while he's not a game breaker by any means, I think he helps. He's certainly not going to hurt.
He's perfect for the
again,
playoffs.
I'd rather if he's a sixth defenseman, I'd rather have him than one of their tax squad guys filling in there. So,
and comparably, as far as if you needed an upgrade defensively, who else went that
Montour
potentially could have added? Yeah, but Montour or
but he's that bottom
Savard,
six guy.
I still think.
Yeah,
I would still probably keep. I would take Savard unless you can get Montour for cheaper.
Well, Savard went for a third, right? So would you rather have Montour at the third or Savard at the first? I guess it's really.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
I think they're similar in some aspects. I think Montour obviously brings a little bit more offense, but it's not like
they have
that's
needed
what Tampa
offense.
needs out of their D-men.
Yeah.
They need depth on D, so because a lot of their guys are hurt.
And he's strong. He's chippy. He's gritty. And that'll help in the playoffs. So I think it's a good acquisition for Tampa. Obviously, the only thing that we're talking about is the price tag.
Yeah,
and did they pay too much for it?
But they did that last year and it worked out. So who knows?
Yep.
So we'll see what the end result is, and then you can critique it after.
Tom Petrillo, Montour advanced stats
buttons.
are, and then poop emoji. So, I had the Bolts as my winners. So very good, trade for Tampa. Esteban, give it to us. How do you like Jeff Carter in the black and gold? Anything, Bueller? Steve? Shorts guy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Why don't you go the Devils, because these two are apparently not hearing anything.
All right. So the Devils, they traded away a face of the franchise in Zajac, which sucked. But looking at what has been given, Zajac was going to go somewhere, and he's going to a team that, potentially. Hey,
there we are.
Esteban is back. Hey,
kick this off.
I kind of had a feeling it was Melvin.
Yeah, you just got to put a barrier around him.
Did you put a barrier for a cat? Good luck.
Yeah, just put like a shock, little shock.
Just got a little fence around this.
Yeah, a little extra fence.
There you go.
So go ahead, Devils.
Dana wants to know about Devils. Let's get talking Devils.
All right, so seeing Zajac go hurt because he's the face of the franchise, but we're not going to win in the next 3 or 4 years. So giving him an opportunity to go win at the age of 35 or 36, and without having to uproot his family, I think the Islanders is the best move. Palmieri, again, another UFA. The Islanders were looking for for a depth guy, and they got it in him. We get 2 AHL players and a first-round pick back. You know what? Part of me thinks that having the 2 first-round picks that one or both could be packaged for a pretty decent player over the summer or on draft day. So that's kind of my pie in the sky hope. Really, what I'm surprised Ryan Murray is still here. Kulikov figured he was going to go.
Yep.
The Siegenthaler trade I think isn't bad. I believe he is friends with Heischer, and he sounds like he's gonna be a good stay-at-home defenseman. And he's young, so he's got a lot of upside to go, and hopefully to grow into a pretty solid defenseman. He's only 23, and he's a UFA, and he's pretty cheap right now. The one thing that I don't like, or that I really didn't like, and I understand is he was on waivers and all that, but just we lost Vatanen for nothing.
Yeah.
I would have
Vatanen and Gusev.
both.
Gusev,
Both were
Gusev
waived,
was
right?
bought out, though, from what I hear.
Gusev,
I don't know how it works because Florida signed him. They didn't claim him. They signed him.
So they
So
must
I don't
have
know.
bought
I
out.
didn't read about how that all went down, but
he's
obviously
not on there. He's not on any buyout list that I can find. I don't think he was bought out. I just think when he's on waivers, it's just like
because they gave him a 1-year contract, so I don't know how.
He only had a
I don't know how
works,
they.
like Steve said.
They
He only
signed,
had a-
well,
he
it's not even a 1-year deal. It's a deal that. Okay, all right. It's a deal that signs him through this season.
Yeah,
It doesn't sign him through the end of next season. So I think it was during the Devils game last night when they were playing the Penguins. They were talking about it, and I swear Cangelosi said that they bought him out, and then I just don't know how it works, and I didn't read about it. But
I'll tell you what, the whole waiver thing really confused me with both the Devils and the Penguins playing two players that were put on waivers earlier in the day.
If they clear
threw
waivers,
me.
they can play. They can continue to play.
Waiver thing still at times confuses me, but because of Vatanen
It's all
leaving,
salary cap stuff.
yeah, Gusev hasn't done anything this year. The big downside to Gusev leaving is I've got a bunch of shirts that are now rags that I made with the Goose logo. So that sucks. That's lost money. But other than that, really, it's
how much are they?
Big loss. Right now, no one's going to buy them. They're
Bitcoin
shop rags. Yeah, I'll take a Bitcoin for one of them. They're shop rags now.
No, I trade you 10 Doge coins for that.
Oh, Dogecoin.
Doge. It's all about Doge.
I'll trade.
I don't know that they could have.
I'll trade a Dogecoin.
I don't know that they could have traded Gusev,
or 10
to
of
be
them.
honest with you.
No,
so I don't know
no,
if there was any
no
other.
way.
I don't know
There's no
if there was any other reality to that situation. I don't think he was. If they waived him, he went unclaimed. I'm assuming they probably had him up for sale if anybody wanted him. Nobody came.
No one wanted
so they whatever they did to terminate his contract, if however that works, that was kind of it.
Yeah.
And then Florida just jumps in and signs him for something dirt cheap. But
Vatanen
the Vatanen thing is puzzling to me. Like, why did they need to waive him? For what reason would they need to waive him?
They couldn't find somebody to.
But even what's the point of waiving him? What is the purpose of what you're not clearing cap space for somebody, right?
Why you're
He was only
I know
only on a
why.
1-year deal.
Ooh, Sam knows why.
I know.
Sam knows why.
What, Sam?
Because Tom Fitzgerald is such a good guy that he just realized, hey, Sammy, get off this ship. You don't need to stay on the sinking ship. It's about to sink. And I want you to just go out and win a Stanley Cup, just like Paul Murray and Travis Zajac. I hope we get the 32nd pick. You know what that tells me? Fitzgerald's gone in a year. That's what it tells me.
Yeah. Well, Rutherford's out there. I don't know that he would go to the Devils, but
I would have
still wants
absolutely
to,
taken even
GM.
You're telling me that you couldn't even get a 7th round pick? You could not get a 7th round pick.
There's no way
Vatanen.
that there's.
I don't
there's
think
no way.
they were even. They were probably asking for something, and everyone, whatever they were asking for was too much.
Probably.
They think they could have got something.
So you let him go for?
What, you waive
let
him?
him go for free?
That doesn't make sense.
So
it
you
doesn't.
let him go for free?
The waiving of him makes no sense. What are they clearing by waiving him? I don't understand.
I'd rather keep him for the rest of the year and just let him play out the year instead of letting him go for free and getting nothing.
Exactly.
You know, like you can at least potentially get a couple more points out of the season. You know, maybe raise our place in the standings a little bit. But
Tom,
to let him go for free, like, come on.
Yeah, Tom says that he's placed on waivers for purpose of contract termination.
Yeah, so they terminated his contract. So going back, although I have to say on Dallas's part, because Dallas did nothing during this trade deadline, with the exception of signing or claiming Vatanen, which I think is great because I think they're improving the team by claiming Vatanen, but their percentage probability of making the playoffs is very low. So you don't go out and be buyers if you're probably not going to make the playoffs. But if they do make some sort of a run and do somehow, can possibly surpass Nashville and take that last spot, they gave up nothing. They added Vatanen. Vatanen can certainly help. They can get Sagan back soon. So it's not completely out of the picture. I think it's really smart on Dallas's behalf.
They figured
to do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they did something without giving up anything, which I think was very smart on Dallas's end. I just don't understand. I just don't know why Vatanen was waived in the first place.
I don't know either. And because of that, I grade the Devils a very generous C.
Yeah,
for their acquire. And you know what? If Vatanen would have stayed, or we would have gotten a pick or two, even like low picks,
I feel like you could have gotten at least a third or fourth for him.
At least a third. I would have been.
I
don't know about that high.
No, not that high. I mean, you had maybe a fifth or a sixth. I don't think he gets a third or a fourth. Not in this market.
I think
it was a very buyer's market. It was a very buyer's market.
Maybe they didn't want anything lower than like fifth, sixth, or seventh. They didn't want.
So
they
nothing.
only wanted. And if they thought they can't get that, then like whatever. Yeah.
So you just let him go. That to me makes no sense.
I don't
know. I don't know.
I don't know why you wouldn't take something for him, but
exactly, and that's really what bothers me about the whole Vatanen thing and really their trade deadline performance. It really if that wouldn't have been there, I would have been a little bit happier. But with the Vatanen thing, it was annoying.
Was there, real quick, going to Daniel's question here, sort of. I don't know if this is exactly what he's asking, but did they change the rules slightly about the frequency in which you can re-sign with the team that? Well, I mean, he wasn't traded, so I guess that's
UFA,
not the same.
He's a UFA. He
but
can
say, for instance, like what happened last year,
yeah.
how he was traded to Carolina and then re-signed with the Devils. Now for a 1-year deal. Now, if he was traded again in this situation, for instance, if he was traded to Dallas and then he's a UFA again, can he re-sign with the Devils again, or is there some sort of rule in place where
I don't see
I don't
why
know.
not.
I don't know if they.
No,
I don't know if they
don't
changed any kind of rule about that.
No,
I mean,
I don't think there's a rule
Foligno
about
might
that.
do it in Columbus. He might go back at the end of the season.
I think either one of Palmieri or Zajac will re-sign with the Devils.
I think
next
Zajac
year,
would.
if not both.
I think Palmieri's probably gone.
I think Zajac re-signs with the Devils if he wins the Cup with Long Island this year. Because do you really want at the age of 36 to go back to a sinking ship like that? As much as I love my team, like, holy crap, we're not going to win the Cup anytime soon. It's.
I mean, there's something. Some of those guys. Sometimes those guys.
As much as I would love him back, like, I want him to go win something, and we're not going to win anytime soon. That's the reality of the Devils.
If he has roots, just like I was talking, I mean, we'll get to Pittsburgh, but if he has roots in New Jersey, a family, a home, kids in a school system,
close. Maybe he'll just sign with.
So it might maybe you get a year,
Islanders
deal, or he's just kind of but he's I don't know if he wants a couple of years to finish his career.
He's definitely looking
36.
for term.
If he wants like 3 years,
totally.
I don't think he's going to sign 3 years with another team, unless of course he signs with the Islanders. He's probably not going to sign with the Rangers.
He's going to get a taste of the playoffs this year, and then want to sign with, a good team so he can do that again, and maybe a good team that's also local. So I don't know. I don't think he's coming back to the Devils.
So that's why for him the Long Island was the best choice, because one, it's not the Rangers. Two, he doesn't have to uproot his family, which is absolutely a big factor in this. I can see him maybe doing a 1-year deal with the Islanders and seeing if the Devils can get things straight. Unless he comes back to the Devils and the Devils say, listen, here's the deal. We're going to go all in this year and we are going to make the playoffs and, maybe give him a 2-year deal. The only thing that I can think about Paul Mary coming back to the Devils would be a 1 year, and I know he's going to want term, but for him to come back for a 1 year incentive laden and then sign him for term after that. I don't know.
Wow, Max Domi's like beating the living daylights out of Connor Murphy and unprovoked. So who knows what happened in this game? So let's do the Pens first, and then we'll do the Rangers because a couple of people have asked about the Rangers stuff too. So let's do the Pens. What do you think about your boy, Mr. Jeff Carter?
Yeah. So after the game last night, I woke up to them acquiring Jeff Carter, which apparently not only did I have no idea that they were even considering Jeff Carter, but neither did basically any journalist or blog writer that I follow had no idea that this was coming.
He was rumored to be traded, but just not. I didn't hear Pittsburgh.
Well, but so teams. And the Kings, a lot of the Kings people said that they didn't think that he would be traded at all. He made it clear that unless it was a team that he really thought could be a winner, he did not want to go.
Yeah, signing there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, he has. So before I know that the Penguins apparently were supposedly about to land Delorier from Anaheim, which basically fit the description of the player that Burke and Hextall wanted. A tough, gritty, big winger who doesn't bring a whole lot more than that. But so I'm actually somewhat glad that didn't work out because he probably wouldn't even played. I'm sure Sullivan wouldn't have played him. But so Jeff Carter, they send those conditional picks over there. LA retains 50% of his salary, which helps. He does have one more year on his contract, which goes into how I feel about the trade. So right now, I really like the trade. I think he's going to add to Pittsburgh's lineup right now, especially now with the press conference. Hextall gave a press conference giving some updates on injuries, so now we have some sort of idea as to who's coming back and who's not. It looks like Tanev will not be back before the playoffs.
Yeah.
That hurts. Malkin apparently is still a while away. He says Kapanen is probably 10 to 14 days away. So they're coming back, but right now they need something more, and he's versatile. He can play either center or right wing. He's a right-handed shot or right-handed center, which is something that they lack pretty much, but he just shoots from everywhere. And I forget what advanced stat. He immediately becomes the top, even on LA, having stats that aren't obviously his best. He's not the player that he used to be, obviously, and especially after that major ankle injury that he suffered. But 2-time Stanley Cup winner, well-respected guy, still has wheels, shoots the puck from everywhere, which is what Pittsburgh needs because they're certainly not a shoot-first team. So they didn't pay much for him. He's not going to hurt them. That's for damn sure. I don't think he's gonna mess up any chemistry or anything because basically the entire lineup lately has just been like plug and play because it's just been a revolving door of injuries. So I think he's better than the depth guys that they've been bringing up already, even though I like some of them. So immediately, I think it improves the team. He's not a game changer. He's not a big sexy name like a Taylor Hall or an Anthony Mantha, but he'll help. For sure. The only way that I can see this trade being bad is Jeff Carter still has one more year on his contract, and it's with the 50%, it's almost $3 million. And if they have that contract going into next season, it's going to create a major problem for Pittsburgh. But like you were saying,
You're
what you guys were saying,
Seattle, right?
What, that Seattle would take him?
Well, you're saying that it adds another player to your list of 7 and 3 or 8 players.
I don't think that they would
expose someone.
No, it won't. I mean, he'll be exposed. What the problem is that they don't have the space for it. They don't have the space for an almost $3 million contract. So it's going to create major salary cap issues, even with the expansion draft coming. But that being said, the rumors were that Jeff Carter wanted to stay because he has his entire family set up in LA. And actually, the rumors, even at the start of the season, is that this was going to be his last season. He was going to forego the last year of his contract and retire. So that's still a strong probability or possibility of what could happen, is that he could retire at the end of this year no matter what. So his contract obviously wouldn't carry over into next season. But yeah, so that's the only downside, is if that contract ends up being on the books for next season, it's something that they just can't afford, even with LA eating half of it. But I like it. I mean, I don't know what you guys think of it, but as a Penguins fan, I think it's a solid trade with they didn't give up much.
I like him for a playoff run. Him on a
Yeah.
playoff team,
He'll be good
I
for
like
that.
that a lot.
Does he play? Does he play with Malkin? And I guess, what is it, Kapanen, or who's he playing with? Or who do you think he would line up with?
There's been a lot of speculation as to what the lines are going to look like when or if they can possibly be healthy. And he doesn't have to play with Malkin. I know they're going to have Malkin, Kapanen, and possibly McCann on that second line. And then they would have Carter, Zucker, and Evan Rodriguez on the third. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Or you can interchange Zucker and McCann, basically. So you could have McCann centering Jeff Carter and Evan Rodriguez with Zucker on the second line. So it's going to look something like that, and then you're probably going to leave intact, Zach Aston-Reese, Teddy Bluger, and Brandon Tanev as the fourth or third line, whatever you want to call it, depending on the situation.
But you said Tanev's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, he's hurt until the playoffs. So, at least until the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He won't be back in the regular season, according to Hextall. I don't even know what the injury is, to be honest, because they don't disclose anything anymore.
No,
but that's where I see he's probably going to be a third line guy, and he'll probably see some power play time also. But
it's not a bad move. I mean, you gotta like it as I actually had them as a winner. I don't think they gave very much for a pretty good forward. So, I also had, some just a couple of losers and winners, and I'll go to the Rangers. So losers, I mean, how could it not be? No. How could it not be Buffalo? Several players were rumored to be available.
Beating a dead horse right now.
Yep.
But this horse has been dead for 10 years. So how do you beat the same horse it's been dead for 10 years now?
You can
missing
keep
the playoffs
it.
for 10. They keep obviously it's happening. This poor thing is dust by now.
I mean, they trade Eric Stahl.
I cannot believe it. I just can't.
Yeah. So they trade Eric Stahl, Taylor Hall, Curtis Lazar, who had term, and Brandon Montour, all free agents other than Lazar, for a second, 2/3, and a fifth, and then Anders Bjork, who Boston couldn't even get anything out of this kid. They tried to put him on fourth line. He couldn't play those minutes. I mean, he's a third, fourth line player. Yeah. Sorry. He was a fifth rounder, I think.
He was a fifth. Okay. What was the one where they had like the three in a row? He wasn't one of those three? Remember?
No,
they took DeBrusk,
Frederick,
Zaboral,
and
Trent Zaboral.
Yeah.
And Frederick and DeBrusk were the three in a row.
Yep. I think Calgary got more for Sam Bennett than Buffalo got for Hall, and obviously Bennett got a second, and Emil Heineman, who's a better prospect than Bjork.
Matthias Janmark. Matthias Janmark got a bigger. They got
Foligno
more out
got
of it,
more.
Chicago.
Foligno got a first. I mean, look at some of the players that got firsts.
And Foligno was never an MVP, never a Hart Trophy winner.
Wait, hold on. So could this potentially be that Buffalo just wanted Taylor Hall gone?
But
Taylor Hall was gone no matter what. At the end of the season, he's just gone.
I know he was gone no matter what.
So they had to settle.
I know he was gone no matter what.
Yeah, they were going to get something for him, but really, that's it. I really want to know who else they talked to. Were there that many teams interested?
Supposedly, the Islanders were very close to a deal for Hall until the Devils said, "Here, along with Palmieri, you can have Zajac." We'll give you Zajac. And then Lou said yes to that.
Yep.
I'm really like, having had him on our team for 4 years that he was there. I'm really wondering if it was about that. Yeah.
Taylor Hall.
I'm really starting to wonder on us. Yeah.
That was like 3.
I'm really starting to wonder if he's just not a good team guy, and that they just wanted him out instead of letting him walk for nothing for $8 million, at least get an $8 million, was that 4th round pick, whatever it was. It almost
I also
just
think
seems
Shorts
like
guy. I don't think he's been doing himself any
I don't know.
favors being on Arizona and Buffalo back to back. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh, no way.
Statistically,
No
at
way.
least.
Not at all.
But they needed to get
No,
something. Okay, so
statistically,
they
no.
needed to get something. But I find it very hard to believe that they basically just. I mean, if they did Taylor Hall for a 2nd round pick straight up, but they basically just gave him Lazar for free. And even I think JJ had said at times, and a lot of Buffalo fans had said that Lazar is like captain material. Apparently, he meant a lot more to that team than most of the roster. And it's just like it's bizarre that he's just like, here, have Lazar too, when it seems like everybody wanted him and he still was under contract. It's so why? I just like I don't know why. Why do they cater to the buyer?
It could be because they wanted him gone. No one wanted to take him. First of all, let's think about.
I think that's bullshit. Though.
The only but where were all the other teams that wanted? There weren't
because
teams
the Islanders
lining up
did
to sign
want
him.
The Islanders did want him.
I'm assuming Edmonton did too. I heard Edmonton was in on it, right?
I even heard Florida. Florida at the last minute was looking at
Florida.
it.
There's no way any of those teams weren't like, we'll give you a 2nd round pick.
Yeah,
there's no way that it's just like give us Hall for a 2nd round pick. If one of them wasn't like straight up 2nd round pick for Taylor Hall, that's it.
Yeah,
and then somehow they end up throwing Lazar in as well.
Buffalo was desperate for scoring depth too. Like you could have gotten more from them.
And if they we're beating a dead horse again, but if they trade Eichel at this in this offseason, this team is just completely depleted of anything. They have Rasmus Dahlin, yes, but he'll probably leave.
He's gonna be gone.
But even then, you don't. But you don't. As good as Rasmus Dahlin is, you don't build a team around Dahlin, and it's just they have nothing. Like the future. Like when is the next time they're going to make the playoffs? Yeah, Allmark might not, and Allmark has been like the shining star of that team, basically. Once he came back from injury, but they're so like this rebuild was just such a catastrophe that any bit of talent just leaves all at once.
Welcome to Quebec. Welcome to Quebec
City.
But
like this is 10 years they're going to be missing 10 consecutive seasons they're missing the playoffs. If they lose Eichel in this offseason, maybe they get some good high-end prospects out of it. If they do end up trading Eichel to the Rangers and they get Lafreniere back, okay, but still, I mean, you're still so. When are they making the playoffs? 5 years?
Maybe.
They should just expose them to Seattle and just let Seattle have them.
So this will be the race.
Eichel?
This will be the race. Who's going to make the playoffs first? The Devils or the Sabres?
Oh, I mean that's not even a contest. You guys at least have a talent. I mean,
the Devils, as long as if the playoffs next season go back to normal and the following season also back to normal, I think there's more of a chance. But if things continue the way that they're going, and it's COVID thing, and they have to keep the divisions and the playoff situation the way that they are, the Devils are going to have a really hard time passing any of these the teams ahead of them now for a while. But so will Buffalo. So
I was just saying, unless Buffalo and Devils make a little trade, Hughes Heischier for Dahlin Eichel.
Oh yeah,
there could be that. All right, so a couple other winners. Yeah, and I
Poor JJ.
Buffalo fans, they're so passionate. You see them with the Bills, you see them with the hockey team. Like they're a good group of people, and they just get crapped on by their teams. Like Buffalo before this was the worst. The Bills, they were the worst thing you wanted to see in football. Like just atrocious.
They're polar. They're polar
quarterback
forever.
Yeah, and they just flip-flop.
Buffalo Bills are on the rise with the right players, and compete for a Super Bowl potentially. And the Sabres are just
staying downstairs.
The doormat.
It's not the
of
same
the
ownership
league.
group, is it?
It is same ownership.
Yeah, it is same ownership. Mm-hmm.
So that makes no sense to me. Like you'd think they would have the same mentality for both teams.
And they did the right thing with the Bills. I mean, especially with what's his name, the quarterback. Sorry, I'm not that well versed in football.
Allen.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
took their time with him and they let him develop, and now look at him. Right? They actually did something smart. That's the smart thing they do with that team.
Instead of getting rid of him
Yeah,
after a couple
you know,
years,
he didn't
when
look
hasn't
great when he
looked
first
that great.
started, and they didn't just like dump him. They let him develop, and now
Like the
now
Jets?
he's competing for MVP of the league. So
Yeah.
it's
Jets.
insane how they're just at complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and I'm getting tired of talking about it because, like we say, Buffalo has one of the best. It's one of the best hockey cities in the country,
Their fan base is
but
Yeah.
it's just this is
extremely
guys drove their
loyal, and
tables.
extremely passionate.
we haven't seen something this horrible in a long time. And Detroit last year was really, really, really bad. But
this team would get slaughtered.
Yzerman's got them. Yzerman has got things going in the right direction. It's just going to take some time
And
for Detroit.
This
Buffalo
team is the
just
former home, the former home of Dominic Hasek, one of the greatest goaltenders of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a card
cannot,
for I say I have a card for JJ. I showed it to Steve, and we'll I'll show you guys later. But it's Steve. Who was the goaltender on that? I'm trying to remember.
Marty Biron.
Yeah, it said Marty Barone. There is life after Hasek.
Yeah.
Could be more. Oh my God. But you know, and
Nope.
Tom actually said it right. You know, the Pegulas don't meddle with the Bills now, and that's why you see the improvements. They're meddling with the Sabres, and they're getting slaughtered. So, all right, you did. Steve just talked about Detroit. So I have two winners from this trade, and I have both teams as being the winners. So obviously Detroit gets Vrana, they get Panik, they get a first and a second. The other way goes Anthony Mantha, and for the longest time, Anthony Mantha's name's always been bandied about that. You know, he's a high-end forward that just needs to have talent around him, and that he can be that top-end player. And we're going to see it now. I mean, he's going to go to a squad that, you know, is high up on the offensive chart, and you know, let's see if he develops into this. The big player that he's supposed to be. He's 6'5", he's a power forward, he scores, he skates like the wind. But, you know, Vrana going the other way, that's a top-end talent as well. So both teams I thought did pretty well. It is a steep price for Anthony Mantha.
Much better.
Yeah, no, but I think both teams did earn the winners, especially if Mantha turns out to be the guy that
the funny thing about this trade, and that, you know, people won't really notice because, you know, Mantha's a big name. He's a guy that, you know, has a lot of talent that for whatever reason – the last 2 seasons or so, everybody thought he was going to be a perennial 30-goal scorer. He could be now with Washington. And if he is, his contract is very favorable. But Vrana in the last 15 games or so, his statistics have been pretty lousy. But overall, the two players are almost identical statistically in just about every category, which is really weird. So you basically just gave up the same. You traded one player for another player that were exactly the same, except gave the other team a whole lot more in return. Now, does Mantha have more upside than Vrana? I don't know. Vrana is very talented.
He's a good player. I like him.
No, he is.
He just,
everybody,
he wasn't really finding his. I'm putting my arm around you, Schwim, because I'm hurting right now.
Okay.
Emotionally.
Aww.
And physically.
That's cute.
And mostly physically. So I don't know. I mean, I saw the trade and thought this was a gross overpayment. But that being said, I would love Mantha on Pittsburgh. But if Pittsburgh had to pay something like that, I mean, forget it. I don't think I want Mantha that badly. And Mantha really, Mantha does not address any of the needs that Washington needed coming into this trade deadline. They didn't need Mantha. He's not the guy that was going to put them over the top. He can maybe improve the team offensively more so than Vrana, so they might have gotten an upgrade in that instance, but defensive depth, they lack. Goaltending depth, they lack. Those are their two
they needed D
weaknesses,
big time,
and they didn't improve it at all. You know, you thought for sure they were going after a goalie, right? For some sort of goalie depth. I thought that they were going to go after Riddick. Granted, I don't think Riddick is that great, but I thought that they were going to go after him for something, and they didn't. So I just I don't get. I get that they wanted to make this big splash and get this big name, you know, possibly with the exception of maybe Hall, just because he's a former Hart Trophy winner. Probably the biggest name off the board in Mantha. So if you're talking about an exciting trade, they probably win the day because
Yeah.
they got Anthony Mantha when nobody expected that was going to happen.
Yep.
But I don't understand it. But I mean, it's not horrible for Washington to get Mantha because it could be
The amount they gave up for him.
Yeah.
No, it
is
definitely is a lot.
They gave up a lot just for him. You thought maybe something
And they
would be
gave
going
up
back with
and they
Mantha,
gave up
but
Verona, and I think
yeah.
Verona and him are almost like I said,
think
statistically
Verana's a
identical.
really good player. I think that's a great trade for Stevie
And
Y.
Detroit.
Getting him,
Detroit did also.
Panic, who he had in Tampa, who he knows a lot about. So maybe there could be something there. And then the 2 draft picks.
First and
that's
second,
oh my God, that's like an unbelievable haul just for the one player.
Yeah, and then I actually totally lost what I was to say. But yeah, I mean, both teams I thought did pretty well. And then one more team that I thought was a winner was the Panthers. I liked Sam Bennett. I liked them getting Montour.
It's a good trade for them.
I thought, obviously getting Gusev, for free basically was a pretty good trade. Especially, and this is the thing I like. You have a team that's played extremely hard. Maybe they weren't supposed to be where they are in the standings now, but they played hard, and this is a GM showing faith in these guys, saying, "Hey, we're gonna try to really help you guys out for a good playoff run." And who knows what happens? I mean, I don't think they're gonna beat Tampa, but first round, maybe if they get Carolina or whoever wins that 4th spot, maybe they could get a good win out of there.
I will say something real quick.
Yeah.
About something I was reading about teams making trades like this and how it looks like there's a gross overpayment, or maybe the guy that they're getting isn't the big, sexy name in the market, but it's encouraging for the entire lineup to see that management is doing something to help them win. And even if you can criticize the acquisition as maybe it's not the need that they really required, but them going out and getting something like sparks something because they know that the management has their back, and they know that the management believes that their team can win and is making some sort of move to improve them and to ensure that they do. So any move, I think, is better than no move. I think being stagnant sends the wrong message to the team.
Yeah, agreed. Last thing on the Canucks before the Rangers, could the Canucks play? So this is one of the theories, right? Canucks are still out with COVID protocol. I think it's up to 21 or 22 players, including a new person just recently. They're saying that they could play out their season during the playoffs. That because, and apparently it's because the draft lottery odds are affected if they don't play the entire season. So that's gonna be crazy if they have to play games against like Montreal or Ottawa,
teams that are out of the playoffs.
Teams that are out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
During the playoffs are happening. No one's going to watch those games, and it's going to be an effective. It's going to be like an all-star game. No one's going to hit each other. It's going to be crap hockey, but apparently it's going to affect their odds if they don't do it.
So then do what I suggested last year. So then do what I suggested last year. Take all the non-playoff teams and put them in a tournament for the first overall pick.
That
would
be
be
all the
exciting.
crap together.
Rangers
Put all
have
the
a chance.
crap together.
I
Put
like
all
it.
the crap together to play for the first
You would
overall
really want
pick.
that now with your team?
Whatever. We're going to get screwed out of it either way, so may as well watch them play some games for it.
I mean, in theory, it would be great, but the players don't care about getting the number 1 pick.
No, yeah.
No,
I know.
one cares.
Well,
all right, so lastly for
you know what though, if you put a cash bonus with your team getting the first overall pick, then they may. If the NHL said, "Listen, here's a pot of a couple million to split amongst the guys that win,"
because even the guys who are gone next season, they're getting a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So for the Rangers, quickly, Jeff Gordon came out and said basically that he didn't see any deals out there. They were going to use $9 million in cap space to try to take on a contract and eat some stuff and get some picks. He didn't want to do that. He didn't see anything long-term or short-term that made the team better. Obviously, a big thing that's happening right now is they're having kids come up, and why not get into it right now? UMass Minutemen, national champions, my alma mater, beating St. Cloud State 5-0 on Saturday. You guys suck.
That was a beatdown.
It's their first national championship in school history, any sport.
I was surprised at that. I was so surprised at that.
Philip Lindbergh, 25 saves. Bollinger, his first career goal was against St. Cloud in the win. They had this ridiculous dangle by I'm trying to remember. I can't remember his stupid name. But anyways, ridiculous goals. Lindbergh posted his record 4th career shutout in the NCAA tournament. He's the junior from Finland, went into the game leading the nation in goals against average at 1.33 and save percentage 946. UMass was 15-0-0 when scoring at least 4 goals, and the Minutemen won a combined 11-45 3 years before Greg Carvel came. He was hired in 2016, and they just won 2 games in his first year at the helm, and now they're perennial, two seasons in a row, they went to the championship game. So pretty cool. Speaking of the Rangers, Zach Jones, who is a Rangers prospect, will be joining the Rangers. He's going to be he signed his entry-level contract 3 years, so they're talking about playing all the young kids these last couple of games, their season and seeing what they can do. Season's looking bright. I like what they're doing. They just need a number 2 center. So we'll see what they do in the offseason.
Is there anyone that's going to walk that's going to be a UFA that they should have traded?
Yeah, Brennan Smith.
Could have.
Brennan Smith's pretty much it. Or Di Giuseppe, Schwim's cousin. Phil.
And Tony D.
Hey,
Tony D.
You guys weren't able to trade Tony D?
Well, so he's got 5 more years. He's at $5 million next year. They're talking, and Gordon made a comment about that they'll look in the offseason to make a deal. Apparently, his name was asked about.
Yeah,
I don't understand why they didn't just shift him out right away. I would have given him for anything.
This offseason is going to be wild, by the way.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
The expansion draft and everything. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? That means that on some of those crazy days we need to do another just massive combined podcast between all of us and Let's Go Devils and Nick Villano, and we'll just have a massive a massive hockey fest.
It'd be summertime. We could do it in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Around the fire pit.
So we'll do the 3 stars, and we'll do a couple of quick trivia. But next week is episode 50. I mean, it's amazing. Woo! It's flown by. We are almost a full year into doing the podcast.
That's nuts.
So we'll do something special for so we'll do something special maybe for 50 or 52. We'll talk about that. But pretty cool. So everybody, please tune in. Tom could be the guy in the chair. Tom says draft day power hour. We'll definitely do something like that. Tom could be the guy in the chair over here just talking to me and going stuff.
Yeah.
So,
our stat guy.
All right, so that 3 stars of the week. Hellebuck, 3-0-0, 167 goals against, 938 save percentage, 1 shutout for the Jets, who are now in second place in the Scotia NHL North Division.
That's weird. That came out of nowhere.
Yep.
I know. Austin Matthews, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 3 games. The Leafs sit 6 points above the Jets for the division lead. He has 31 goals. He's 8 more than the next guy.
Now.
32, so thank you. And then Nathan McKinnon, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points total, 3 games. Avalanche on fire. I'm calling it. I think it's son. I don't know.
I saw Ralston. Is that Ralston's son? Do we know?
It might be.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Yeah, he got traded today.
I don't know.
I think Avs Tampa is going to be an awesome cup final. I really do think that
if it is, that would be
nearing that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so
Stamkos won't be playing.
I'm still, if I'm Colorado, I'm still worried about.
He'll come out for a shift
Vegas.
and get hurt.
Yeah, he'll score a goal in that shift too.
He'll do the same exact thing he did last year. That'd be fantastic. play 2 minutes and 23 seconds or whatever the hell.
Tear his groin after he's jumping out of the way.
Score a huge goal and then
separate his shoulder.
Rip his groin.
Separate his shoulder, raising his arms.
Honestly, at this point, I think he might have leprosy. I think he has. Because did you see what he got hurt on? Did you see the clip of how he got hurt? He was dumping the puck in and spun around, and that was it. He didn't even get touched. Nobody touched him.
Tom says it is Ralston's son. Plays for Notre Dame.
It is?
All right.
Yeah, guy in the chair.
That's funny. Guy in the chair. Tom, you got a job, bud. We don't pay much, but you got it.
Or at all.
All right, so Shorts guy, do you want your trivia first, and then we'll do mine, or what do you want to do?
It's up to you.
You go first.
I'll give you mine first. All right. So, there are currently, out of the 91 NHL goalies that have played at least one game this year, there are 3 in the league that have ties on their record. There are only 3 current goalies that have ties in their record. Who are they?
So they got to be
3
somewhat
current
older.
active goalies. Yeah.
Three current out of all 91
Until
goalies
they
that
get
have
rid
played
of
at least
ties.
one game this year. So out of all 91 that have played at least one game this year, 3 of those 91
Price?
have a tie or more on their one or more ties in their record.
Well,
No,
it's
it's not
not
Chris.
It's not Lundqvist, right?
He didn't
He
play
says
this
he's
year.
Fleury is one of them. Fleury is one of them.
Johnny Quick,
No,
Pekka Rinne.
No.
Not Price? You said Price? No?
not Price.
Okay.
Pekka?
No, I think Rene was
Pekka
after.
Rinne is not. You would think based on age that Pekka Rinne would be, but no.
Older goalies.
Who else?
Not Bishop, right? Oh, he hasn't played yet, though.
No, he hasn't played yet.
Yeah. Who the hell else?
Ooh.
Tuukka Rask?
Tuukka Rask
that's good.
did
No, Rask
not
was-
have a tie.
No.
That is a
he's
good one.
after also.
Halak is older, too, right?
He is not on that list.
No,
Huh.
he's not on the list either.
Hmm.
Oh man,
Curtis McElhinney's old. Does he have any ties?
I
I don't know.
He is old, but he has
He's like
no ties on his career.
5 or 36.
I'm trying to think of old
McElhinney's
goalies.
37.
Can you give any hints? Maybe it's not,
Both of them are U.S.-born goaltenders. The other two.
Oh, nice.
U.S. born.
hmm
U.S.
You
born.
said not quick, right?
Yeah.
Not quick. They are both older than all 4 of us.
Shit.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
older
have
than
to
you
think
is
so.
like 40, right?
39. Older than me would be 39. I'm 38.
Short guy.
Ryan Miller?
Oh,
Ryan
Ryan
Miller,
Miller
yeah.
has won at the age
Yeah.
of 40.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Ryan Miller.
We got one more.
Yeah, one more.
One more.
Oh,
Does he play East or West? Normally.
East.
He
East.
plays in the East normally. No Columbus. This is really bad airtime. We're just.
Is it
Yeah, it is.
Elliot?
It is not
Is he
Elliot. You
Canadian?
would think that, but
Yeah,
no.
he's-
Oh, I didn't even
Is he-
think about
Elliot
Elliot.
is
American.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Elliot's Canadian.
Who the frig
Daniel
else
says
is there?
Tomas Grice. It's not Grice.
No,
the
not Grice.
What on earth is happening? Why? Why is what's
Why
happening?
did Make America
Schwim.
Great Again come up on my phone all of a sudden? Look,
Yeah, see,
Oh man.
Tom must be controlling your phone.
Tom's controlling my phone and putting MAGA threats all over it.
Do
Hey, you
you want
gotta
the
mute
last
that
one?
big
You
guy.
want number 3?
Well, give us
Yeah.
one more
Number
hint.
3?
One more hint.
All right. He is currently in I forget the hell we call our division with Devils, Rangers, Penguins.
Mass Mutual
He
East.
plays
Your
in
division. Okay.
Oh,
yes in the East
Brian
division.
Elliott?
He plays in the
Who the
East.
hell else is there?
I said
No,
Elliot.
there's
right?
no-
No,
He's Canadian.
Elliot is up
No,
there, but
I said
no.
Brian Elliott though.
No.
Wait.
Elliot is there.
Yeah, what
Oh, wait,
Elliot
no,
do you think
Craig
I was
Anderson.
talking about?
I was thinking Craig Anderson.
Craig Anderson is number 3.
Craig-
That's who I was thinking about. I
Right.
played Craig
Game this year?
Anderson. I was like, wait.
Wow.
Craig Anderson's played 2 games this year.
Wow.
Ryan Miller has I believe Ryan
Tom's
Miller only
laughing.
has Ryan Miller has 1, and then Craig Anderson and Fleury both have 2. They're the last 3 that are currently playing that have ties in their record.
Wow.
That's
And
nuts.
surprisingly enough, at the ripe old age of 38, Lightning legend Mike Smith does not have any ties on his record.
Oh,
Wow.
but he has losses.
I think
Good turnover.
He has
Lundqvist doesn't
losses.
either, right? I don't think he was Lundqvist playing before they changed the shootouts?
I thought he
Before the
had some
lockout?
ties. have
Let
to
me
look.
look. This actually came up. This actually came up last night on the Let's Go Devils podcast. We were just kind of randomly talking about it, and I was like, I got into one of my, I must find this out now, and yeah, this was it. Lundqvist, no ties. Lundqvist's
Really?
first season
Okay.
I didn't
was
think so.
That's weird.
05-06. No ties. Yeah, so the tie stat will be going away as soon as those 3 gentlemen, unless someone really old comes out of the woodwork. Once those 3 guys retire, that little T in the goaltender stats will no
Is
longer
gone.
be needed.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
have a quick trivia question. Who, when they switched to the 3-on-3 overtime, who was the first player to score
Oh, I know this one.
the game winner? And when they switched to the 3-on-3 overtime,
Can I say it?
Team. I need the team and the player.
I know it.
If you
It was
guys don't know,
it was-
I'll let Steven say it.
Oh,
All right.
Tamper? Is it Tamper?
He was on.
Yes.
Marty St. Louis.
No. I don't even think he's in the league anymore.
The player's not in the league.
Actually,
so it's someone.
100, I'm like 99.9%. He's
definitely
not in the league
definitely
anymore.
What is it, Vinny? No, it's not
No.
Vinny. It's Easier. Blah, blah, blah.
People say I look
No
like
idea.
Vaclav Prospal.
No, but I like that. I like that guess, guy. Steven?
Tony D'Angelo.
Jason Garrison.
Looks like Tony D'Angelo. All right,
Not just related to him. I don't look like him.
Is it Garrison?
You just
Is that
said
what
it.
you said?
Jason
Jason
Garrison.
Garrison.
Yep. He scored the first ever
Okay.
3-on-3 OT winner.
We were watching it.
Sure were. He made
All right,
history.
In 1976, which defenseman won the Norris Trophy, stopping Bobby Orr from winning his 9th consecutive Best Defenseman award? 76. Big-time defenseman, played local.
Oh, played local. There goes
Local.
my idea.
Played local.
What does his last name start with?
I'm not giving that one.
Damn.
We talked about his team today making a very good shrewd move.
I don't know.
Tampa Bay legend Tony D'Angelo.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was. There's a lot of Tampa Bay legends out there.
No,
apparently.
not Clark. Islanders.
Oh,
Was it
Butch Goring?
Potvin?
I don't know.
Dennis Potvin.
Butch Goring's a forward.
Hey, yeah, I know. I realized he was a forward after I said it. Like an
He'd
idiot.
win
Denny.
3 more Norrises. So.
Good for
And
him.
then one more for good luck. Who was the last Montreal Canadian player to score 50 goals in a season?
Yeesh.
Can you tell us the year?
He played for the Devils. No, I don't know the year.
Oh.
Played for the Devils.
Yeah, played for the Devils.
Stefan Richer.
Stephane Richer. Nice guess, guy.
Nice.
I like that.
Hey.
Very good. All right.
He's the last Canadian to score 50. Wow.
Yeah, last Canadian to
That's
score
nuts.
50.
Yeah.
He did that.
50's not easy. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good commercial. The dad is the best.
Oh, every time.
Oh, my God. Is that 89-90 is the last time a Montreal player scored 50 goals? Oh, my God.
89-90.
89-90 is the last time a Montreal
89-90.
Canadian.
What was
Wow.
the closest since then? Was there 40 goal scorer?
Oh, I don't even know. I have to look through all the stats of. I'm gonna have to go back and look at this now. That's funny.
Poor guys.
So Mr. Wu can hit it when he gets a chance, but yeah, I mean, definitely Gianta. Wait, Gianta scored 50 goals?
For the Devils?
No,
Not
Canadians.
Montreal.
I don't think so. For Canadians.
Gianta?
Didn't he for
No.
the Devils? Maybe? Or close?
Who was the other Gianta? What was his name?
Steven?
Steven Gianta?
Steven.
Right?
Yeah, Steven Gianta. He didn't score 50 goals.
Kovalchuk.
He scored 48.
Yeah, Kovalchuk. That's a good one.
Closest
say John did it.
Brian Kane was 48 in 05-06. Yeah, he
With
didn't
the Devils.
score with the
Yeah,
Devils.
Guy Lafleur.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Steve Schutt, Guy Lafleur, then Stephane Richer. You have no other guys in that 50-goal range for Canadians since 1989. Oh, man, that's funny.
Wow.
Those poor
All
guys.
right, Mr. Wu. Very good. I give
It's,
my beer. You're going.
I
Sorry.
gave mine a 3.75.
No. Rate your beer, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
4.
Wow. I'm going to go 3.5 because it's almost a decade old.
Esteban, did he even say anything? Oh, you said 3.75.
3.75.
Short, what did you get?
I'll do 3.75. It's not nearly as good as
Nice.
the mango.
No,
and
mango is
Best
so
would
good.
agree. And happy Ranger Hate Week. 4 games in a row between you and I, Billy Dean.
Oh yeah, I'm not to talk to you for a week.
You better make
Yep.
some sort of bet.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, want to do a Zona bet?
yeah, Zona bet for better record.
Well, of course,
If they tie,
down.
Schwim owes us. So all right, yeah. So here we go. If they tie, Schwim owes us both a Zona.
What the hell? I'm not getting in
They
your
tie?
stupid bet.
No,
I don't like
that's
either of
too
your
bad.
teams.
You just
All right,
that's
all
too
right.
bad.
If they tie, if they tie, Schwim owes us Zona, and he has to wear a Tony D player tee.
I already have a Tony D player
From
too, all right?
Tampa.
So
I already had it.
Hey guys,
Tom got it for him a while ago.
hey guys.
What's up, Dan?
but it
Either
doesn't say
way,
D'Angelo, it says MAGA. on
I'm gonna
back
have
for
a
some
coffee cake. Either way, I'm just gonna have a coffee cake.
That's not vegan. That is not vegan.
It's not.
reason.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah.
And I mean, just because we're talking BS right now before we hit the music, you have to talk to your son, Kevin.
Why?
He's been eating cheese.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
You need to have a talk with
bueno.
that.
Looks like I need a stern
Yeah,
talking to.
Yeah,
Yep.
he gets a
He might in fact need a paddling.
Yeah.
Yeah. he would be the
For
first
the
paddling.
cheese.
Good
Oh, you
paddling.
better believe
paddling.
that's
That's a paddling.
Oh man.
Wow.
Oh man. Well,
Sam, you can hit the music anytime now. We're just
yeah,
hanging out.
We're just
You can-
we're just BSing now.
Hey,
I'm
there
registering.
it is.
Did I already do this?
All right.
I feel like I might have done this.
All right, Shrimp, take her home.
All right,
Schmim.
let's do this. You know, when I was a boy, I wanted a goalie helmet really bad. My dad wouldn't get it for me. So I held my breath until I passed out and banged my head on the coffee table. The doctor thought I might have brain damage.
Schwim, what's the point of the story?
I like stories.